Hello there, internet bikers. Welcome to this new channel, and today I'm gonna tell you why I bought this bike. This is a Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro, which I bought a little bit over a year ago. So we're gonna get on it, we're gonna ride it a little bit today, and I'm gonna explain all the reasons why I bought this bike and not anything similar to it, but different, you know. So let's get on it. The reason why I bought this motorcycle starts with my needs when it comes to motorcycles. So I already have a cruiser, a Yamaha cruiser that I've had for 10 years, and I bought it because I love to do long distance riding and I like to do two-up riding. I mean, I don't need to do two-up riding, but my wife does like to join every now and then, which is great. So that means I wanted something that I could ride long distance and that I could use two-up. That is already a big piece of the puzzle there, but in a cruiser motorcycle there are just some places where you cannot get to, because of course, you know, not everything is paved, and there's a lot of interesting places in Spain. That's where I live, that's where we are. If you see a city in the background, that's Madrid. So basically, since I live in Spain and I know that there's a lot of places that I cannot get to because it's not asphalted, then I wanted an adventure bike that could get me to those particular places. I do know, by the way, that I did not need the most adventure-y of adventure bikes, the most off-road capable one, because, well, that's just not what I'm gonna do. I want to make sure that I can go anywhere, but that doesn't mean I absolutely have to go anywhere, if you get what I mean. Basically, I want off-road capability, but I am not going to look for off-road every single time. So that, for me, it means that I don't want a 21-inch front wheel, because most of the time I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna ride in the asphalt, I'm gonna ride in highways or you know, country roads, and 21 inches are just not for that. I mean, they're meant for proper off-roading. So that already took off a couple of the more capable adventure bikes off the table, like the Africa Twin or the Yamaha Tenere 700. Then the other point was, I'm not the most powerful guy in the world, right? I'm average. I'm like 5'7", 5'8", something like that. I mean, we do metric here, so I'm not exactly sure how much that my height is in English measures. And I weigh like 60 kilos, which is I guess 130 pounds British or American. That's not a lot, right? So I'm not strong, I'm not tall, and having one of those really large adventure bikes, that's just not what I want, right? Not what I need, or not even what I'm capable of handling. Because if I get a big one of the 1250 GS or a really big Multistrada or a big 1290 KTM, I'm gonna drop it, because the whole point of adventure bikes is that you're gonna drop them. It's inevitable. That's, once you get to off-roading, you're gonna drop the bikes. So if I drop the bike, I'm not going to be able to pick it up if it's one of those 1100cc and up motorcycles, because those guys, I mean, they weigh like 250 kilos and up, and I'm not strong enough to pick them up from the floor if I drop them. I can barely pick this one up already. So okay, that was another point in the decision that meant, okay, I'm gonna get a relatively smaller bike. I need a 19-inch, but it cannot be the biggest engine out there. And by the way, I mean, the heavier bikes are also the most powerful bikes, but honestly, do you really need 150cc horsepower to get around? I mean, nobody does. It's not necessary. I mean, you may enjoy it, you may like it, but nobody needs it, honestly. So with that, I made that the second decision, which was not having the biggest of the ADV bikes. Then there was another option, which is in Europe, there's the A2 license, which is meant for motorcycles of up to 47 horsepower, which means that we have a lot of options in that range but I have the full power license. I can ride full power motorcycle. So I mean, I know that those bikes are out there. I know that there's a bunch of 19-inch front wheel adventure bikes with 47 horsepower, but I mean, I can ride a little bit more power than that because I'm allowed. And so it made no sense for me to limit myself, which meant that I was looking for a like higher mid-range motorcycle. And for me, that meant that there were really 3 main choices, and the only reason that it's not more is that a few of them I just did not like the looks. Like the Multistrada V2, I don't like the look, and I also don't think that it's something that anyone would ever want to drop, like a Ducati. No. And the GS, I don't like any of the GS. I just don't like the way they look. They have this huge beak in front that I think makes the bike look off balance. It looks like it's going to nosedive at any moment. I just don't like them, right? And so that left me with 3 choices at the time, which were the Triumph Tiger 900 line, the Suzuki V-Strom 1050s, and the Moto Guzzi V85 TTs. And at the same time, because this is a little bit over a year ago, at the same time the Harley Davidson Amaerica 1250 came out. And you know, I mean, we like checking out new bikes and all of that, so I decided that I was going to include that in my decision tree, right, in my options. So first bike, the first thing that you need to do when you're going to buy a bike is, or the first thing that you should do is test ride it, of course. And all these bikes, since they are relatively good sellers, there's always an option to test ride them. So I went out and I booked test rides for all 4 of them: the Moto Guzzi, the Harley Davidson, the Suzuki, and the Triumph. So first up was the Moto Guzzi. So I rode the Moto Guzzi and I thought it was a really fun bike. It was interesting. It was relatively light. It was relatively powerful. It had the good looks, and it also had a interesting V-twin engine, right? So that was okay. That was a good ride. I liked it. I could have bought it. I mean, the good thing about it is that it's the cheapest by far, and so that was something that was important. Even though I didn't really have too much of a budget constraint, it's always good to, you know, not overspend. And the Moto Guzzi was, I mean, it was cheap, so that was a good point in hand. Then I tried the Harley Davidson. I tried the Amaerica, and man, that bike is awesome. Honestly, it is one of the best bikes I've ridden. It was really good. It was really, really good. But at the same time, I mean, like I said before, who needs 150 horsepower? Because that's what it has. I don't really need 150 horsepower. And it was a bit tall for me, honestly. I tried the standard one, not the special, because the special does the, you know, electronic lowering of the seat or of the bike when it's in a standstill. So I tried the other one and it was okay, but it was a bit hard for me to manage it with the height. And I do know that the adaptive ride height, or whatever it's called, I mean, man, that's like an extra couple grand, and it was creeping upwards. There was like, I'm in Europe, right, in Spain, so it's all in euros. The Moto Guzzi was like 12,000 and the Harley Davidson was close to 20. So it was a very, very big difference that I didn't think made much sense. I didn't see an 8 grand difference in both motorcycles, even though I really enjoyed the Harley Davidson. I couldn't bring myself to buy it when I know that the Moto Guzzi is also out there, and it's almost, I mean, not the same, but it is almost the same amount of fun. So the third up was going to be the Suzuki, and so I lined up the test ride for the Suzuki 1050, the V-Strom 1050 XT. And this is sometimes, you know, life gets in the way, and I wanted to test ride it. I booked it. It was in a bike fair, bike show, whatever, like some event, and when I went there, something that never ever happens to me is I never forget my documentation. I never forget my IDs, any of that. But that day I did. I left everything at home. And so what that meant was that, of course, if you don't have your IDs with you, no one's gonna let you test the bikes. And so I couldn't test the Suzuki. It was just not meant to be, because I mean, I couldn't test ride it, so I just didn't know what to think of it. Even though I thought it looked okay, and I thought it had some nice numbers to it. And so the next stop was the Tiger. I tested something exactly the same as this one, a white Tiger 900 GT Pro. That's exactly the bike I tested, right? And I thought it was awesome. The thing that I really enjoyed about it is that, as I said before at the beginning, I have a Yamaha Cruiser, which is a V-twin. And yeah, I mean, the previous bikes that I tested, they were adventure bikes, so that makes them different. But at the same time, they were V-twin ADV bikes. So I mean, if I'm gonna look for something different, I mean, why sell myself short? Why not go and be full different, right? Make a choice that gives me more knowledge of the motorcycle world. Because I mean, both Moto Guzzi and Harley Davidson, they just do V-twins, but I already have a V-twin at home, so that also played a factor into it. And so when I tried this one, that this is a tri-cylinder engine, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was like really preppy or peppy. It's a happy motorcycle. I mean, it feels like spirited. It feels like it wants to do things. I get that feeling with this one. I like the V-twins are, I mean, they feel strong, they feel powerful, they feel like ready to do stuff, but they feel like, I mean, you kind of want to like push start them, right? They roll off bed and they're happy, but this guy, the tri-cylinder engine, it's just always on, and it's a different feeling. And so I really enjoyed it. On top of that, the weight, the height, because it's a relatively low height motorcycle for an adventure bike, and all the electronic options that it has. That was another very important point in my decision making, was that this bike is maybe 4,000 or 5,000 euros cheaper than the Harley Davidson. Of course, it's less powerful, but at the same time, it had a lot more electronic options to it. It had an up and down quick shifter, it has electronic suspension, it had cruise control, it had the heated grips and the heated seats. Harley Davidson, the standard Amaerica, like the base model, it doesn't have any of that. And so it's like 4,000 or 5,000 euros more expensive. And so at that point, I guess it was really down to just the Tiger and the Suzuki. Since I didn't get to test ride the Suzuki, I just had a little bit of a look at the options, and they cost more or less the same money, but the Tiger is still a lot better value for money, because the Suzuki doesn't have the electronic options. It doesn't have the electronic suspension. The quick shifter, the up and down quick shifter, I don't think it was there, not stock anyhow. And so those were all the reasons why I bought this motorcycle. I ended up buying this one because of all of that. Now, that doesn't mean this bike is perfect. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's pretty damn close to it. It's really close to perfect for my taste or for my needs. But the looks were the only thing that I didn't 100% agree with. And that's because, like I said at the beginning, reason I don't like any of the BMW GS line, and the reason I don't like the Multistrada is the big beak in the front. I don't like the beaks, and this one has a beak. It's a bit smaller, and therefore it doesn't look as terrible for me. But honestly, I think that the best motorcycle out there would be a Triumph Tiger without a beak, or something as similar as possible to a Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro without the beak. That is that's how I see it anyhow. And so yeah, this is an awesome motorcycle, and I bought it in spite of the beak, because the rest of it is just so damn awesome. Now it's been over a year. I have more than 5,000 miles on it. It's not a lot, but I do have 2 motorcycles, and I just use them for fun. I don't use them for work or anything like that. So but yeah, it has been a really awesome motorcycle. I enjoy it a lot. I feel like I've grown into it. Like it fits me like a glove, basically, and that is awesome. So what I think is, if anyone is looking at this video because they are thinking about you know, getting a Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro, I mean, I would say you cannot go wrong with this motorcycle. It just feels like one of the best things that I've like one of my best decisions in the past decade or so. It's just it's great. It's a really great motorcycle, and unfortunately we had to do all of this in the highway. I don't usually take the highway. I mean, I'm going somewhere today, and I figured I might take advantage of it and you know, talk on camera, but that's not what this channel is going to be about. I mean, we're not going to do a highway blast like this most of the time. We're going to do different stuff, right? So stay with me. Please subscribe. Don't forget to click on the like button and on the ding bell thingy, so you don't forget to get notified. You know, the basic stuff. I still have no subscribers at the moment of taping this one, so yeah, don't be shy. First one gets a treat. Yeah, guys, that's all, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.